Hello students, good morning all of you. I am taking the class of Shastri II. We have discussed many explanations from Act 1st, Scene 1, 2 and 3 and Act 2nd of Scene 1st from the play The Merchant of Venice. Today we see the explanation from Scene 2 of the play Merchant of Venice. The line of explanation is there. Igro, Master Lancelot, talk me of Master Lancelot, of father for the young gentleman, according to fate and destinies, and such old sayings, the sisters three, and such branches of learning is indeed deceased, or as you would say in plain terms, gone to heaven. These lines have been taken from the play The Merchant of Venice. These lines have been written by William Shakespeare. Shakespeare was a great dramatist. He was certainly one of the most successful writers of this time. These lines have been taken from Act 2nd of Scene 2nd of the play Merchant of Venice. Here we see that Lancelot walking down the street and taking to himself, more accurately, he is arguing with himself. In this above line, the father Gobbo asks his son Lancelot for direction to Shylock's house. Lancelot tells the audiences that his father, being more than sandburl blind, high gravel blind, does not recognize him and decides to have some fun at his father's expense. Lancelot gave ridiculous, complicated, and inaccurate direction to Shylock, but all Gobbo wants to know is whether Lancelot knows if someone named Lancelot still works for Shylock. Lancelot comically tries to keep insisting that Gobbo refers to Lancelot as Master Lancelot, but it does not work. In the end, Gobbo asks again whether Lancelot knows whether a man named Lancelot still works for Shylock. This is when Lancelot finally answers Gobbo's simple question. In the main explanation of his great speech, Lancelot says more. This speech is that Lancelot tells Gobbo that Lancelot is dead. It is certainly a cruel trick for a son to play on a father, to tell him that his son is dead. However, these two obviously do not have a typical father son relationship. The ironically named Lancelot refers to the mythical fairs. In short, we conclude that the three sisters, who are said to control all aspects of life, Lancelot sounds quite erudite. So, the entire speech is the comical Lancelot's way of humorously torturing his father by telling him in a roundabout, scholarly way that Lancelot is dead, which of course is a lie. Now we take the second paragraph for the explanation today. But here they, Gracino, the art too wild, too rude and bold of voice, parts that become they happily enough, and in such eyes as ours appears not false, but where thou art not known, why there they show something too liberal. Pray thee take pain to allay with some cold drops of modesty thy escaping spirit, lest through thy wild behavior I may misconstructed in the place I go to and lost my hopes. These lines have been taken from the play The Merchant of Venice. These lines have been written by William Shakespeare. Shakespeare was a great dramatist. He was certainly one of the greatest dramatists of his time. These lines are taken from Act Second, Scene Second of play The Merchant of Venice. In these lines, Bassanio speaks his words to Gracino and advises Gracino in the concrete ways. In these above line, Bassanio has already managed to a large sum of money from his friend Antonio so that he can go to Belmont and try his hand at marrying Portia, a woman who has been left with a large sum of money following her father's death. Lancelot, a servant of Shylock, asks for and is given a new job as Bassanio's servant, and at the end of this, Gracino asks if he has accompanied Bassanio. Bassanio initially does not welcome this request as Gracino is not a serious enough figure to take with him, and he is concerned that Gracino's jocularity might not help him as he seeks Portia's hand. He does allow Gracino to accompany him, but not what advice he gives him. Bassanio tells him to use modesty to keep his character in check, referring to Gracino's happy go lucky nature as his escaping spirit, and using the metaphor of comparing modesty to cold drops in order to convey to Gracino how he has to cool down and become more serious if he is to go to Belmont with him. If not, Bassanio fears that his intentions will be misunderstood and misconstructed, and his hopes of marrying Portia will be lost. In response, Gracino promises faithfully that he will be serious but then insists he will be allowed to party as he wants to do so tonight. Bassanio agrees as he says that they have friends that need the kind of merriment and humor that Graciano can bring. In short, these lines teaches us that we should be cooperative towards others. Again, these lines reminds us that we human beings are ready to